There comes a time in life when you stand in front of the mirror and the reflection staring back at you feels like a stranger. You see the same face, the same eyes, the same skin, but you know deep inside that this version of you is not who you were meant to be. That reflection carries the weight of fear, the marks of failure, the chains of regret, and it whispers to you, is this all you will ever be? That moment is not ordinary. That moment is sacred. It is the moment when you realize that in order to live, in order to grow, in order to reach the life that calls your name, you must be willing to break yourself. You know, breaking yourself is not about destruction without purpose. It is not about hurting for the sake of pain. Breaking yourself means looking at the walls you have built inside, the masks you have worn for years, the excuses you have defended, and shattering them with your own hands. It means saying, this is not enough. This life, this version of me, this comfort will not take me where I need to go. It is standing in front of your own weakness and refusing to bow to it any longer. But breaking yourself is not easy. It feels like losing your identity. It feels like standing in fire. It feels like pulling apart the very structure that has carried you so far. You question yourself. You wonder if you have made a mistake. You hear voices telling you to stop, to go back to comfort, to live quietly. Yet, somewhere deep inside, another voice whispers louder, you are more than this. Keep going. Think of a seed buried deep in the soil. On the outside, it appears lifeless, forgotten, but within, it is under pressure. The shell cracks, it breaks, it opens. Without that breaking, no life could ever grow. Without that breaking, no plant would ever rise toward the sun. And so it is with you. Without breaking, you cannot rise. Without breaking, you cannot build the new life waiting for you. The breaking will strip you of illusions. You will lose the comfort of pretending. You will lose the safety of excuses. You will lose the mask that made others approve of you. It will feel lonely. It will feel like you are falling into emptiness. In that emptiness, you will find truth. You will discover the raw, unpolished, unshaped version of you that has been buried for years. This is the beginning. The breaking is not the end of your story. It is the door to the next chapter. When the pieces of who you once were lie scattered, you will see clearly what no longer belongs. The fear, the doubt, the hesitation, the weakness, you will see that they were never your strength, only your chains. And now, without them, you can begin again. You know, breaking yourself is not a sign of failure. It is the ultimate act of courage. It means you are brave enough to say, the person I am today is not enough for the destiny I seek. I must break these pieces and build something greater. This is how warriors are made. This is how legends are born, not by holding on, but by letting go. Not by protecting the old self, but by breaking it open so a stronger one can emerge. So when you feel the cracks forming, when you feel the pressure rising, when you feel the old self trembling under the weight of who you are becoming, do not run from it. Do not fear it. Embrace it. Let yourself break. Because only through breaking can you rise. Only through breaking can you rebuild. Only through breaking can you step into the greatness that has been waiting all along. After the breaking, silence often comes. It is the silence of standing among the pieces of who you once were, uncertain of what will rise from the ruins. That silence can feel heavy. It can feel endless. You look around at your life and everything familiar seems distant. You question who you are without the habits you destroyed, without the excuses you shattered, without the comfort you once clung to. It is as if you are walking through the ashes of your old self, and you wonder if you will ever find the strength to build again. But it is in that silence where power begins. The emptiness is not your enemy. The emptiness is your canvas. When you break yourself, you clear away the false foundations. The ground may look bare, but it is ready for something new, something stronger, something worthy of your true potential. And here begins the rebuilding. Rebuilding yourself is not about returning to what you were. It is about shaping what you were always meant to be. The version of you that walks out of the fire cannot be the same one that walked in. That version must be wiser, stronger, clearer, more focused, and unshakable in purpose. To rebuild yourself means to design your life with intention. Every thought becomes a brick. Every action becomes a stone. Every sacrifice becomes a pillar, and step by step, you raise a new structure within your soul. This process will test you. It will demand discipline and patience. There will be days when you feel as if you are carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. There will be nights when doubt sits heavy in your chest. There will be moments when quitting feels easier than continuing. But remember this, the breaking was only half of the story. If you broke yourself and stopped there, then you would remain in ruins. The rebuilding is what gives the breaking its meaning. Think of a sculptor standing before a block of marble. At first, it looks ordinary, heavy, without beauty. The sculptor strikes with the chisel, breaking away pieces again and again. Each strike feels destructive, but it is not destruction. It is creation. Slowly, the figure emerges. Slowly, the masterpiece takes shape. That is what rebuilding yourself looks like. Each choice you make, each habit you create, each step you take toward your vision is a strike of the chisel, carving the masterpiece that is your new self. But here is the truth. Rebuilding is not glamorous. It is not loud. It is not about applause. It is quiet work. It is the work you do in the dark, when nobody is watching. It is the early mornings when your body begs for rest, but your vision demands action. It is the late nights when others sleep while you keep moving forward. It is the small decisions that seem invisible but compound into greatness. Rebuilding is not a moment, it is a daily choice. And every day you rebuild, you prove to yourself that breaking was not your end. You prove that you are not defined by who you were, but by who you choose to become. You prove that the fire that broke you has also forged you. You begin to notice the changes. The mind that once doubted now thinks with clarity. The heart that once feared now beats with courage. The spirit that once hid now stands tall. Slowly, the new self takes shape. But let us be honest, rebuilding is lonely. Not everyone will understand what you are doing. Some will remember who you used to be and try to hold you there. Others will not see the vision you carry and will tell you to stop. There will be moments when you crave approval, when you long for someone to recognize the battle you are fighting. But approval is not your fuel. Your fuel is the vision of who you are becoming. Your fuel is the fire within that refuses to die. As you rebuild, remind yourself why you broke in the first place. You broke because the old life could not carry you forward. You broke because the chains of fear, doubt, and weakness were too heavy. You broke because you wanted more, because you were meant for more. And that reason must carry you through the rebuilding. Every step forward, no matter how small, is proof that you are not the same. Every challenge you face and overcome is evidence that the new self is stronger than the old. Every day you rise, despite the weight, despite the doubt, despite the silence, is proof that the breaking was worth it. Rebuilding yourself is not about perfection. It is about transformation. It is about creating a life that aligns with your deepest truth. It is about standing in the fire and deciding that you will not remain ashes. It is about choosing to rise again and again until the person you once dreamed of becoming finally stands before you. When the breaking has stripped you and the rebuilding has begun, a deeper truth begins to rise within you. You realize that this process is not only about becoming stronger, it is about becoming free. The old self was a cage. It was built from fears that were not yours, expectations that were placed on you, and limits that you once accepted as truth. When you broke yourself, you shattered those walls. When you rebuilt yourself, you began to create a life on your own terms. A life that carries your vision, your values, and your fire. This freedom does not come without a price. The price is sacrifice. The price is walking away from comfort, from approval, from the easy road. Many people want greatness, but they are not willing to pay that price. They want success without struggle. They want growth without change. They want strength without breaking, but life does not work that way. Nothing powerful is born without pressure. Nothing great is built without sacrifice. And nothing lasting is created without the courage to begin again. The person you are becoming is not born from luck. The person you are becoming is shaped by every decision you make after the breaking. Each choice is a declaration of who you are now. Will you return to the old patterns, or will you choose the harder path that leads to growth? Will you listen to the voice of fear, or will you answer the call of courage? Will you hide in the ruins, or will you build a tower from them? These choices shape your future. These choices write your story. Think about the mountain climber. The higher he climbs, the thinner the air becomes, the colder the wind grows, the heavier the climb feels. Yet he does not stop. He does not turn back. Each step upward hurts more than the one before, but each step also brings him closer to the peak. That is what your journey feels like. Breaking was the first step. Rebuilding was the climb. And now, as you rise higher, you carry the scars of your struggle as proof that you belong on the summit. You may ask yourself, why must I keep breaking? Why must I keep rebuilding? The answer is simple. Growth never ends. Each time you reach a new height, a new breaking will come. Each time you achieve, you will feel the call to shed the old self once more. It is the cycle of transformation. You are not meant to remain the same. You are meant to evolve, to expand, to keep climbing. The breaking is not a punishment. It is the design of growth. There will be moments when you look back at the person you once were and you will not recognize them. The fears that once controlled you will look small. The doubts that once chained you will look weak. Failures that once haunted you will look like lessons. And you will realize that breaking yourself was not the end of your life. It was the beginning of it. That old self had to fall apart, so this new self could rise. But do not think the journey is over. There is no final version of you. There is no finish line. The purpose of life is not to reach a single peak and stop climbing. The purpose of life is to keep rising, to keep breaking, to keep building, to keep becoming. Every time you break, you open the door to something greater. Every time you rebuild, you step closer to the person you were always meant to be. And when you stand in the mirror again, you will see someone different. The eyes will carry fire. The voice will carry strength. The spirit will carry weight. You will know that you are not who you once were. You will know that you broke yourself and rebuilt yourself, and that is why you are unshakable. You will know that the pain was worth it, that the silence was worth it, that the climb was worth it. This is the power of breaking and rebuilding. It does not just change your life. It changes who you are at your very core. It gives you freedom. It gives you strength. It gives you purpose. And every time the world tries to break you again, you will not fear it. You will welcome it. Because you know that breaking is not your end. Breaking is your rebirth. And so you walk forward, not with fear, not with doubt, but with certainty. The certainty that every breaking has meaning. The certainty that every rebuilding has power. The certainty that you are becoming more with every step. You broke yourself to rebuild yourself. And from this moment forward, you will never look at breaking the same way again.